Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. My name is Leanne and today I am going to share with you a what's for dinner video. Those seem to do well the few times I put them out, so I thought I would put out another one. And yeah, so let's get right in and take a look at the first dinner.
So to start off this recipe, I'm making some barbecue sauce. I had about half a bottle of ketchup that I put into this bowl along with some yellow mustard and some water. I did not measure exactly, but what else is new? So I'm adding in a half a cup to 3/4 cup of brown sugar. I needed some barbecue sauce for this recipe and just didn't happen to have any on hand. Plus, I kind of like the idea of making it myself because I know what is in it. So anyways, I thought it'd be fun to do since I needed it for a recipe. I'm now adding in some smoked paprika. And then I do add in some Worcestershire sauce as well as some salt. There are a lot of different recipes that you can find for barbecue sauce, and the base of them is the same, but there's some differences, and you really can just do it to taste. So not having measurements isn't a huge deal. I more so use recipes for a guide and then just adjust for taste. I wanted just a little bit of kick in our barbecue sauce, so I added some sriracha sauce, just a little squirt. This recipe came out a little thin for my liking. The recipe I was looking at had suggested putting in water, but I just think I would leave that out next time. But I tasted it and decided to put in just a little bit more brown sugar. And yeah, you can pretty much just customize it to your taste, just adding a little bit more of something until you get the desired taste. I really ended up liking this recipe and used it for a few different recipes because, as you can see, I made quite a bit, so I was able to use it for a couple different recipes. On to the actual dinner. I was making Monterey chicken. I saw this first in a What's for Dinner video from Mandy in the Making. I will link her channel below if you have not checked her out. You probably have, but she does What's for Dinner videos every week with so many good recipes. And I'll also link the original recipe below. But this is some chicken breasts and barbecue sauce, and then I put Havarti cheese and shredded cheddar on top, and now they are going into the oven. They were pan fried for just a few minutes on each side before going into the oven. So while the cheese is melting on the chicken, I am just steaming up some broccoli, and then I also made some white rice to go with this dinner. Once the cheese was melted, I began to crumble up some cooked bacon on top and of course eat some of it as well. And then I just put it back in the oven for another few minutes just to, I don't know, have the bacon melt into the cheese a little bit or something. And this is the completed dinner. Oh my goodness, so good. I love this dinner so much. Monterey chicken with white rice and steamed broccoli. This dinner always is fantastic.
Hey guys, so for tonight's dinner I'm going to do some pork chops along with some rice cauliflower and a steamed veggie. The pork chops are a garlic parmesan pork chop that I got from Aldi, already marinated. I don't do that often, but if you saw my recent grocery haul, you'll see that I picked them up because they were half off. So I just decided to go with that, and that's what we're having for dinner. So all of that seasoning came on the pork chops, and I just lined a pan with foil, sprayed with cooking spray, and I'm putting this into the oven at 400 degrees for 15 to 20 minutes. I'm gonna go ahead and get this rice cauliflower started, and you just saute this in the pan, and you can add stuff if you want or just leave it as is. There's a big solid chunk in the middle, so I'm going to try to break this up before I put it in there. There's still a few clumps, but we're just gonna let that heat up. And I do think, I don't normally add anything to it, but I do think I'm gonna add some seasonings. I just haven't decided what yet. So, and then in a few minutes, I will probably in about 5 minutes, I will start the broccoli in this pot right here.
So now I'm just going to add some seasoning to the rice cauliflower. I am adding some pink Himalayan sea salt, some onion powder, some garlic powder, as well as some parsley flakes. That's just kind of what sounded good to me and sounded like it would go well with the pork chops that we were having. I just added this to taste, so you can do more or less or something totally different if you want. I also added in a tablespoon or two of butter, and normally we eat this just, I cook it plain and then we just add butter and salt when we're eating it, but I decided to switch it up a little bit different and it was so good. I will probably continue to do something like this when I make rice cauliflower in the future. And here it is all plated up. This was so good. I do not know why I don't marinate my meat. I don't usually buy it pre-marinated, but I should marinate my meat more often. This was delicious, and I served it with applesauce. I forgot that I used to always have applesauce with pork chops growing up, and I just kind of forgot about it, but it was mentioned on Large Family Loves channel, so I will link them below. They do a lot of great meal videos as well, and it reminded me of how much I like that.
Hey guys, so another dinner. Today we are keeping it super simple. We were out a lot of the day and ate out earlier, but now it's 8 o'clock and we're hungry. So I am pulling some meat sauce that I had already prepared and frozen out of the freezer, and we're gonna make up some brown rice penne pasta. So I just pulled this out of the freezer and put it in a bag or a bowl of cold water just to try to get it to thaw enough so that it'll slide out into a pot to warm it up. And I've got some water starting to boil. This is the pasta we are going to cook. This is from Trader Joe's. And then I'm going to cut up shred up some Parmesan cheese, some mozzarella, and then I have feta cheese in there, and make some type of a pasta dish. Don't even have enough stuff for a salad, which is kind of odd for us to not have a true veggie with our salad or with our dinner, but we're just gonna go with it today.
So I am using a wooden spoon with my pasta, which I always do, and I don't know if you know of this trick, but if you put the wooden spoon across the top of the pot, your water will not boil over. Now this one is not particularly full enough that if it was boiling, it would probably be unlikely to boil over, but I am just in the habit of always doing that, and it really does work. We really prefer the taste of freshly grated Parmesan, so that's what I normally do. To us, it's worth the extra effort, and I do shred it and then cut it up a little bit with a knife just to make it smaller pieces, but I normally would use my Nutri-Ninja, but I'm waiting for a part for that. Then I'm just going to cut up some mozzarella and crumble up some feta cheese, and that way it'll be ready to go when I'm ready to put it together. So I guess this is turning into kind of like a big ziti goulash. I don't know. When the pasta was done, I drained it and then put in a couple tablespoons of butter. And then this, I'm still getting used to the electric stove and how hot that burner stays, and so it was just kept cooking, so I needed to quickly move it off the stove, but I mixed in the meat sauce, poured in all the cheese, and I just poured it into a baking dish. I didn't actually put this in the oven. I just needed to get out of the pot because the pot was still so hot. Like I said, I'm still learning and getting used to an electric stove. I'm definitely more used to a gas stove. And that's what's for dinner tonight. I was so glad that I had some meat sauce already done up in the freezer so we could have this quick and easy meal. So for tonight's dinner, I am getting started by making some brown rice, and I am just using beef broth instead of water. This is a chicken dinner, but I'm still using the beef broth because I had it left over in the refrigerator and I wanted to use it before it went bad. I'm making a Parmesan crusted chicken And in that bowl I have 1 egg, 1 tablespoon of water, garlic powder, salt, and some paprika. And then I have some freshly grated Parmesan cheese with some parsley flakes. And then some butter and olive oil in the pan. So you're just going to dip the egg in, or the chicken in the egg mixture, and the chicken totally fell off the fork there and splattered. But thankfully it didn't get on me or the floor, it just got on the counter. And then you're gonna just coat it in the cheese and put that in the hot skillet. Now I am including the recipe for this, even though it did not totally come out right for me. I was hesitant to do it because whenever I make dishes like this, it always sticks horribly to the pan. But I tried to follow the recipe exactly. The only thing different was that I added in some paprika and the parsley flakes, but that's not going to make a difference. And I think the recipe called for minced garlic, and I didn't have any, so I used garlic powder. But I tried to do everything right and the pan at the right temperatures, and sure enough, it ended up sticking pretty bad, as you will see. But I don't know how much of it is my technique that's the problem versus the pan. I'm certainly no expert, but I do periodically have trouble with this pan with like even scrambled eggs sticking and stuff. So I think it's the pan's fault. But anyways, I don't know. I need a new pan. Either way, I need a new pan. I don't know if that was completely to blame for this recipe, but I decided I would include it anyway because not all night is a win. I will say it tasted really, really good, but the mess left for me to clean up was obnoxious. So I think if I were to make this again, I'd probably just bake it in the oven, but do everything else the same. So, but maybe you don't have a problem frying chicken in a pan. But as you can see here, it was very stuck. I tried to leave it as long as they say to before flipping so that it doesn't stick, and I don't know. I don't know what happened, but the chicken got cooked and we ate it and it was good, but it wasn't pretty. And we just made up some really beautiful salads. My husband does a great job with our salads. And we had the salads alongside the chicken and brown rice. And it, like I said, it was a really, really good dinner. It just didn't come out the way it was supposed to. But the flavor of it was really good, and I would just do it again, but probably in the oven. And that's it for today's video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button to see my future videos. Thanks so much for watching.